Welcome to the Mindset Mutiny podcast. I am your host, Mike Ivanov. Join me as we challenge the status quo, break free from self-imposed limits, and redefine what's possible. What's up, everybody? Today, we're diving into one of the most common and crippling struggles we all face: insecurities. We all have them. They're the whispers in the back of our heads that say, "You're not good enough. You'll never measure up." What if they find out the truth about you? Insecurities touch every aspect of life: how we see ourselves, how we show up in the world, and how we interact with others. They're like shadows, always there, lingering in the background, waiting for the right moment to creep in and sabotage your confidence. They tell you lies, they keep you small, and they stop you from stepping into your full potential. But the truth is, insecurities only have as much power as we allow them. And today, we're going to take that power back. This isn't about overcoming insecurities in the sense that they disappear forever, because they won't. It's about confronting them, understanding them, and learning how to work through them so they no longer control your life. So today, we're going deep. We're going to dissect insecurities, confront them, and learn how to take back control of our lives. So what are insecurities, really? At their core, insecurities are deeply ingrained beliefs that something about you is fundamentally lacking or flawed, that you're not good enough. These beliefs are rooted in fear: fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of being inadequate, or fear of not measuring up to the expectations. Insecurities don't just pop up out of nowhere. They're learned over time. They're shaped by our experiences and the messages we absorb from the world around us. Maybe it's a hurtful comment someone made when you were a kid, words that seem small at the time but stuck with you forever. Maybe it's a failure or a setback that left a lasting scar. Maybe you question your abilities or your worth, or perhaps it's the relentless comparison game we all get sucked into thanks to social media. You scroll through a feed of perfect lives, flawless appearances, and seemingly effortless success. It's easy to feel like you're never measuring up to those carefully curated, often unrealistic portrayals of life. And every time you fall into that trap, your insecurities dig in deeper. Here's the thing. Insecurities are like mental programs running quietly in the background of your head. They operate subtly, often without you even realizing it. They shape the way you perceive yourself, influencing your choices, your behaviors, and even how you interact with others. They might make you second guess your decisions, avoid taking risks, or hold back from opportunities that could have changed your life. If left unchecked, these insecurities can quietly take control, shaping not only your actions, but your entire life trajectory. They limit your growth, your confidence, and your ability to reach your full potential. But here's the empowering part. You don't have to let them. Insecurities might be a part of your story, but they don't have to define the ending. You have to have the power to confront them, challenge them, and rewrite the narrative. It's not easy, but it's possible. And it starts with recognizing that those fears and doubts are just that: fears and doubts, not facts. The key is to shine the light on them, because insecurities, like shadows, shrink when you bring them out of the dark. Awareness is absolutely essential to this fight. You can't fight an enemy you refuse to see. Ignoring your insecurities doesn't make them disappear. It gives them more power to control your life from the shadows. That's why the first step in overcoming insecurities is becoming fully aware of them. It's about facing them head on, no matter how uncomfortable it feels. And this requires a level of honesty that most people aren't used to. You need to strip away the layers of excuses, the justifications, and denial, and get brutally real with yourself. You can start by asking, what am I insecure about? Identify the specific areas where your confidence falters. Maybe it's your appearance, your intelligence, your social skills, or your abilities at work. The more specific you can be, the better. Then ask yourself, where did the insecurity come from? Trace it back to its origin. Was it something someone said or did? A traumatic event? A pattern of comparison? What was it? Insecurities don't arise out of thin air. They're born from experiences, messages, or environments that planted a seed of doubt. Maybe somebody criticized you in a moment of vulnerability, and those words stuck with you. Maybe you've been comparing yourself to others for so long that you're convinced you'll never measure up. But here's something you need to consider. There's a chance that it's all made up. Sometimes there's no concrete reason for the insecurity, no traumatic event, no harsh critic. It's just a story you've built in your mind, a narrative you've clung to for years without even questioning its validity. And that's important to recognize because whether the source is real or imagined, the impact is the same. The key is to bring it to the surface, question it, and start dismantling its power. You can't let something you made up or something that doesn't even matter anymore keep you trapped. Another effective question would be, how does this insecurity show up in my daily life? Think about the behaviors, the habits, or even the thoughts that stem from your insecurity. Does it cause you to avoid certain opportunities? Make you second guess your decisions? Or do you seek validation from others or put yourself down before anyone else can? These are all very effective questions that need to be answered. For the longest time, my insecurities ran my life. They weren't just a part of me, they were in the driver's seat. They were controlling my actions, and even worse, limiting my potential. I can look back now and see all the opportunities I missed because of them. I'd avoid situations where I might fail or be judged. I'd convince myself it was better to play it safe. There were hobbies I never pursued, things I was genuinely interested in because I didn't think I'd be good enough. I tell myself, why bother? You'll just embarrass yourself. You're not good enough to be here. It didn't stop there, though. My insecurities even controlled the people I'd approach, or most accurately, the ones I didn't. I wouldn't put myself out there. I wouldn't speak up. I wouldn't make connections that could have enriched my life, personally and professionally. I stayed small, convincing myself that playing it safe was somehow the smarter choice. But here's what I learned. Every missed opportunity, every time I held back, wasn't protecting me. It was robbing me of growth, of experiences, of the confidence that comes from putting yourself out there, win or lose. Insecurities don't just keep you from failing, they keep you from living. I don't want that for you. You've got to call out those insecurities and recognize the chokehold they have on your life. Because the longer you let them dictate your decisions, the more opportunities you're going to let slip through your fingers. The world doesn't wait for you to feel ready. You have to take the leap. even when your insecurities are screaming at you to stay put. This exercise is not easy. It demands vulnerability, which can be absolutely terrifying. Let's face it, most of us avoid vulnerability because it feels like we're exposing a wound to the world. Here's the reality, though. If you're serious about personal growth, you must confront the uncomfortable truth. I've said this many times, and I will continue to say it. Maybe you're insecure about your intelligence, right? Because someone, said some shit to you one day about, never amounting to anything. And those words have echoed in your mind ever since. Or maybe you doubt your leadership skills because of a past failure where things obviously didn't go as planned. So now you hesitate to step up. Perhaps you feel unworthy of love. You came out of a toxic relationship, which made you question your value. Whatever your insecurities are, it's essential to bring them out in the open. Write them down. Name them. When you identify your insecurities, you're taking the first and most critical step towards disarming them. Insecurities thrive in the darkness. They grow when you ignore them. But when you shine a light on them, they begin to lose their grip. And again, like shadows, they shrink when exposed to direct light. Awareness is the light. Once you've acknowledged your insecurities, you've already weakened them. Why is that? Because you've stripped away their invisibility. What was once an unspoken fear becomes a tangible challenge you can now address. Awareness transforms insecurities from untouchable fears into problems that you can solve. Remember, you can't fight what you refuse to see. And once you see it clearly, you're already one step closer to breaking free. Let's take a deeper look about insecurities and how they show up. Insecurities don't just quietly sit there in your mind. They show up in your action, often in ways that might surprise you. They subtly influence your choices, your behaviors, and even how you interact with the world. And the tricky part, you might not even realize it. They're calling the shots. For instance, maybe you're someone who constantly seeks validation. You need others to affirm your worth, whether it's through compliments, recognition at work, or even approvals on social media. On the surface, it might look like you're just being social or striving for success, but underneath, it's your insecurity telling you you're not good enough on your own. You need their approval to feel valuable. Or perhaps you avoid taking on challenges or stepping into new opportunities. Why? Because deep down, you're afraid of failing. You're afraid you won't get it done. You tell yourself, things like, if I don't try, I can't fail. Or I'm just not going to be able to make it happen. I'm too busy. But in reality, you're letting your fear of inadequacy hold you back from that growth. Insecurity can even make you defensive, especially when someone points out a flaw or offers criticism. Instead of calmly reflecting or learning from the feedback, you lash out or shut down because deep down, you already believe that flaw defines you. It's so painful to hear someone echo what your insecurities have been whispering all along. This will be hard for most to hear. You spend more time defending your insecurities than doing anything about them. You build walls around them, shielding them from scrutiny, rather than confronting and addressing the root cause. But here's the real kicker. The more you let insecurities dictate your behavior, the stronger they become. It's a vicious cycle. You avoid challenges to protect yourself, but in doing so, you miss out on experiences that could have built your confidence. You seek constant validation, but it only feeds your reliance on others' opinions. You react defensively to criticism, which reinforces your fear of being exposed. Each time you give in to your insecurities, you reinforce the belief that they are in control. They become a self-fulfilling prophecy, growing stronger and more deeply rooted in your mind. But here's the good news. Cycles can be broken. The first step is recognizing how your insecurities are influencing your actions. And then the next step is to respond differently. Now, it will not be easy, and it will not happen overnight. But every time you take action in spite of your insecurities, you're weakening their grip. I'm not speaking from theory. Insecurities have owned me. In the next episode, I'm going to get raw and personal about insecurities. I'll be breaking down my top 4 insecurities, the ones that nearly destroyed me, and exactly how I've fought to overcome them. So if you're ready to take that journey with me, tune in next time, because the fight against insecurities is personal, and together we're going to win. So if you're getting something out of this, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button and share the podcast with somebody who you think needs to hear it. Let's grow this thing together, and let's keep spreading the message. Your support means everything to me. Thanks so much.